Welcome everybody, hello, and this is David Akrish from Black Dragon Modern Combat. A lot of you have looked at my 57 years of background in close quarter combat, martial arts, just being an investigator, a trainer, a teacher, a learner, and seeing what the world had to offer. And so I've seen a lot, done a lot. A couple of things I want to go over. This is actually 20 key principles of the Mook Jong number 4, which is, I've been saying verses, but we can almost call it a balance of, this one is strength versus sensitivity, and the last video, number 3, was speed and structure. All these kind of go together. So these are easy concepts to kind of bring up, put the words together, but they're just they're kind of subdivisions of an overall training kind of modality, mixing all of them together. And so you don't want to give a one for the other. Each one's important. Sometimes, I guess to me, what it's about is about balance between different laws of physics, which is one of my 5 concepts in my school, is the laws of physics. And so, I'm sorry, shouldn't use that if you're a Toastmaster, so I just got dinged. But, probably too. It's been really interesting, even just in a couple of weeks of putting this channel up. So I want to reiterate what it's about. It's not about ranking on anybody. It's not about one thing's better than the other. This is about showing my journey, for lack of a better term, of what I've done, what I've learned, how I train, to use or not use in your, on your own personal journey. These aren't lessons per se of Chung or Kung Fu or Silat or whatever, or Filipino martial arts, even though that's what I'm doing, a lot of all of it. But Jiu-Jitsu, actually I call it Jiu-Jitsu, which is I think the original terminology. But I want to thank all the subscribers. It's like amazing. This is all new, and I appreciate each one of you. I'd like to hear from some of you, what you think. But okay, let me get into that. I don't want to hear, and I'm being kind of a hypocrite, and I admit it. So I always admit when I'm wrong, and I can't let really ridiculous stuff, commentaries come up and leave them posted, because I could, who cares, but I care because I don't want to give somebody the benefit of their stupidity. I've had a couple of people that are just absolute disrespectful. Respect is so huge to me, not in just martial arts and stand there and sensei and all that, but just in the world, and the coldness of people, and the keyboard warriors and the wimps, and maybe some people aren't wimps and they're bad. I don't care. I don't care what you are, but I do care what you say, and words can be hurtful, and I'm not going to put up with it. And so even a couple people, one guy gave me this lesson. I know more. I got to tell you, I'm sorry if it sounds arrogant, and I know more in my little finger than you'll ever know about certain things, and I don't appreciate the coming on nicely, then sending me this garbage, and I know what happens all over the place. That's why I didn't want to do the YouTube channel, but there's a bigger part of me that wants to do it. I know there's good people out there. I know there's people, somebody wrote a really nice, just a simple comment is really nice. So if you have a question or whatnot, like one of the questions was about the square wundobi. All right, I went over that. That's actually something that was created for me 30 years ago because I wanted a Mook Jong, and someone made it for me, and I like it. And I more than like it, it actually fits a lot of my training in the squareness versus my new Mook Jong back here, which is round, and people are used to. But the squareness of it has its own attributes. And maybe it's way ahead of time than this closed-minded people who are making, it makes no sense. for like a Chongjong and Chole Fud, which is a flat palm. And yeah, you could do it on anything, but it actually fits really well. And so it's just different. I've hit more Mook Jongs in my life than probably most people ever will. Because I've been, again, I hate saying this. Okay, I'm not going to say it. But let's just say I've been around the block. And I've been in many, many schools, and there's different types of Mook Jongs, and a square one, maybe that's it's part of a new era of Mook Jongs. Who knows? So don't freaking worry about it, and don't worry about your ancestors, because they're my ancestors too when we go far enough back. So it's just ridiculous. I don't need to hear that. It's just stupid. And so, okay, so that's me kind of being childlike, but the point is I'm not going to deal with that crap. So just keep it yourself. If you have something that you actually have to say, that'd be really nice in a sense of dialogue, just like person to person, and that you would treat somebody with respect. If you don't like me, don't watch. I know maybe there's some intimidation because, I don't know, because I've been doing it and you haven't. I watched some of these videos of some of these people, and they're not very good. And am I being honest and being kind of crass? Yeah, I guess so. And I don't want I guess I do want to be that way, because I'm saying it, and it's like, there's no saying of throwing rocks when you live in a glass house and all that. So just worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. If you don't like things, just move on. I think I brought this up the other day, that I think there's a lot of people who've quit doing these videos or working on YouTube, being a part of it, because they just want to not put up with this BS. Ugh. So anyways, but I'm new, so I'm fresh meat, so I guess I can put up with it for a while. Actually, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to delete the stupid crap. So if it's neutral, cool. If it's nice, that's cool, of course. If it's a legitimate question, why am I doing that weird thing with, like rhythm, or number 3 in balancing, I'd be glad to answer that with respect. But the garbage is just going to go bye-bye. So you're just wasting your time, and I'm just going to hit the delete button. So anyways, this is number 4, which it's kind of like number 3 in the sense of strength versus sensitivity. And a lot of people don't realize that strength and power are 2 different things. So strength is actually, it's endurance, but it's the ability to lift something. So if I didn't have any strength, I could not lift my arm up. Endurance is keeping it there. But power is like your car engine. The power is the ability of moving something and how fast you can move it. That's what power is. So acceleration. So if you punch fast, you're probably going to move something further than punching very slow. A very good example of it would be a bullet. If I just threw a bullet in the air, it wouldn't be so deadly. But with the charge behind it, it's moving at a high velocity, so something little is actually able to pierce and go through. And the old days they call it a missile, and do serious damage, fatal damage. And so the same thing with striking, with hitting, whatever, self-defense, combat. And so speed is very important, but strength is endurance and keeping your arm up and the ability. But I think sometimes a person's overdoing the strength part and then missing the sensitivity part, not the speed part, but sensitivity of something may be happening, and you're more engaged and over muscling. See, this is a hard concept, and I'm not even sure I'm doing it as well as I should. But I'll give an example. So this is a collie stick, and so you're striking, if you don't use enough strength and you hit something, it's going to fall out of your hand. Weapon training is very much different than open hand training. And then when you hit something, you really understand, I may need to increase my strength instead of doing something in the air and it all looks cool, but you don't really understand what kind of strength, which becomes structure, which is, again, like I said, they're intermixed together. So the strength, the muscle, the ability to hold something up, and then the endurance of it. Now, let's say I strike and something happens and I'm so stiff in my strike that I'm not able to feel the I'll call it sensitivity of making an adjustment, and these are just real, I don't like the word basic, but kind of well-known strikes. So this is number 2, like a number 1. And to shift through sensitivity, there's laws of physics, of energy coming back into you, and then re-striking. I was reading one of my my Tai Chi papers, and not mine, and there's so many, they're called jings, and there's different types of jings, and if you study Tai Chi, you'll know what I'm talking about, and it can be applied to anything for everybody. Same thing what I'm doing here. There's one listening, there's rolling, there's absorbing, like taking in, spitting out. There's all these types of energies, and you read them and you go, wow, there's a lot. There's a lot of variabilities in life. There's a lot of variabilities in combat, and so you have to be able to have the sensitivity to shift through these, to understand them. Yet you have to have the strength to be able to do something. To have strength, I believe in strength and strength training and all that, but maybe you over strength train and not enough sensitivity of shifting and moving. Go, oh, something's happening over there. Of listening, like the listening jing, or I think it's called ting jing. And so, an example, which I'm going to do on the Mook Jong just real quick. So this is simple. This is more, again, these last two are more mental than they're physical, obviously, because I'm trying to apply it to physics, but there's something to think about. Am I too stiff? Am I too relaxed? Not strong enough? And I'm not feeling what's actually happening, and I'm getting like crushed down, or I'm so stiff that I'm not understanding of shifting or moving and being sensitive to what's going on. So it's like tightening up. This is a big problem that happens internally to people through, I'm using Chinese medicine, through emotions. And it stiffens you up, it tightens you up, it causes blockages, and which causes a lot of problems, especially with the liver. And so, so this is about tonification of the liver versus relaxation of the flow of the energy. And so on the on my new Mook Jong here, and it's a Wing Chun Mook Jong. Oh, no kidding! Wow. And so I got a lot of bugs here. So I was trying to think of an example. And one was and this could apply to anybody, is you're pulling so hard, somebody's grabbing you, you get tightened up, and your adrenaline's flowing, and excitement, and anger, and frustration, and whatever it is, and you tighten, and you don't realize that maybe the person's pulling back. And so if I'm pulling forward and I'm not letting go, kind of like a dog with a bone, then I don't realize that I can actually flow backwards, or flow forward, I guess, in a sense. They're going backwards. So this is an example I came up with. If you come up with a better one, do a video, let me know. But this is about too strong, too muscular, versus the opposite would be I'm weak, I have no structure. and so it's balancing all four of the speed, the structure, the strength, and you need strength training. But I think it can, if you go too far over balance, and that's what it's about, then you don't understand the sensitivity. So structure, strength, I need strength. And I see people doing like these little, it's like, no, the Mook Jong is meant to be exploded upon, to feel, and we'll get into that, into a forward energy, a kinetic energy, pulling in, releasing out. And so it isn't meant to just to sit here and go like this, which is no strength or structure, and maybe some speed, but you're not doing anything. And so strength is very important, but so is sensitivity. It's like, oh, I'm pulling, oh, maybe I need to let go and flow forward, and then strike and follow the energy. So those are it's a counterbalance. Again, the concepts, I'm going to sit down here. There's $1 million here where we live. It's always fun. Actually, not too bad tonight. It rained. So these are counterbalance ideas, but they're not separate. They're not like just this and just that. They go together. And so, and they're all important. So that's what I'm bringing up tonight. Thank you for listening through. Hope I didn't turn anybody off too much, but I just have to be honest and honest to thyself about just YouTube crap that everybody knows about. So anyways, I thought, so the next video is on arm conditioning. So I've done the wrist, and now I'm going to do a little bit of arm. Other things that are coming up down the line, I did a story. A lot of people have actually looked at it, a lot for me, which I think is interesting. But I'm going to do another story, not really a story. I do have a few stories. I got a lot, but I don't want to do too many too fast. But I'm going to do more of a topic that I brought up in between some of these. I'm really going to, again, really reel these key principles out. And one of them is it martial or is it, and this is just to open our minds, it's not to rank at all, it's just mind opening. And that is what this is about, this whole channel. Is it martial or is it just arts? Or art? So that's one, it's one of the first ones, I wrote it all out, so I'm ready for that. And then the next, the next principle. And then what I want to go over is kind of the lost art, and maybe there's people doing it, and I haven't really looked it up. But not truly foot combat, so that's something I'm going to do. But the pure animal combat, so animal kung fu, close quarter combat. So I don't know if you've seen that in a while, but that's something I've been working a lot on. And the two animals are tiger and leopard. And so it does come out of Charlie Foot, but there's even more like pure schools of these animal training, and they are pretty wicked. So that's coming up soon too. But I have to get through this first series. I'm not going to splinter out. That's ridiculous. And people, I don't need to follow an order to some degree. Anyways, that is tonight's video. Thank you everyone who's subscribed. If you haven't, it helps, of course. And I hope that, and I always say that I'm giving you something that maybe you didn't have or you didn't think about, and opening your vision, your mind a bit. And so that's what I really think. Now, lastly, this really is for beginner people to have an outlook or a perspective, at least with somebody such as myself who's put a lot of time in, and to kind of make decisions where you want to go. I'm actually going to do some Filipino stuff, I don't want to call it a lesson, but kind of a way to go, and maybe something you could practice and go, I like this, or I don't want to do this, I want to do that. And so that's really what this is about. And well, these aren't lessons. They are not lessons whatsoever, but they are my inner thoughts and feelings. So I think this channel is a bit different than people teaching you how to do something in the long style and how it works. And I am going to actually go over certain moves, whatever you want to call them, and to open the ideas behind them, not as a lesson, but just again to expand out from the norm. So these are my ways, and a lot of people are stuck in tradition, and that's fine, but everything moves on, everything breaks down, entropy, everything shifts and changes. Phones do, every year there's a new phone and it's doing different stuff, and that's the name of my whole system, is where tradition becomes evolution. And so that's what I'm all about. So after all these years, I do not have any boundaries. And so some stuff may look unorthodox and goofy. Well, it is what it is. But if you can see through what I'm doing, like the rhythm, one, I even thought this is kind of goofy watching, but think about it. I'm showing to do different pathways. This is you can say Filipino. Right, left, or right, left, right. That's very difficult. And to build it's not just for the combat, but it changes who you are. It changes your abilities. It's what you do externally, internally, is how your life becomes open. You have open ideas, open thoughts. I'm using the word open a lot, but it's what it's about. And so that's what that was about. It wasn't just about speed or bouncing off the Mook Jong, which is part of it, speed drills, but it's changing rhythms, changing ideas, and becoming faster and feeling the energy that comes off of it. And like I said, it's like a feed loop. And so, biofeedback loop, and so that's what I'm putting out there. So this is me. I'm doing these videos after like full day work. My business is Chinese herbal medicine, and it's extensive, and so sometimes a little loopy, but I know what I'm thinking. So, and I'm trying to get it out. Anyways, have a most wonderful evening, and please contact me if you have questions or just want to, anything. Even if you want to talk someday, I'd be glad to talk. And yeah, because that's who I am. And send me your videos. I mean, if you're gonna rank and do all this crap, send a video yourself so I can see, so I can have some fun too. Okay, so have a nice evening. Take care. Bye bye.